the Bullet and Caitlin go out there, and the Bullet was a big favorite. I mean, many people say that the Bullet is the best female fighter in mixed martial arts, and many people will say she is just amongst the top 10 best fighters in mixed martial arts, and not even put it into categories of male versus female. Those people have very strong legs to stand on to make that claim. Here's one of the things that's a challenge with her. Okay, if you're going to fight Valentina, that means you're going to study film on Valentina. When you're studying film, you're not only going to look for her favorite attacks and the attacks that she looks for most commonly, you're also going to look to tendencies before she fires those attacks, meaning, what does she do? Does she flutter first? Does she blink first? Does she look down first? Does she move her left hand before she throws her right hand? You're going to try to look for what she does prior to the attack. Because if you can identify the setup, you have a better shot of then stopping the attack. Okay, great. That's what you're going to do with every single opponent. Here's where the trouble comes. Valentina gets so much better in between each fight. If you go and watch her last 3 fights, her last 4, or even her last 5, the only thing that you're going to see consistent is the growth that she makes between fights. The only consistency you're going to see is that she continually adds new attacks to her arsenal. If you go back and watch her Jessica I fight 2 fights ago, in the Jessica I fight at the very end of the first round, Valentina had side control and began to manipulate Jessica's right arm. Not only was her positioning perfect, not only was the changing of her hips, the step over the head, the manipulation, going to guard, still trying to finish this. Look, Jessica is a great grappler, great competitor, great fighter. Jessica I defended. But you still now had to come away, if you're a future opponent, go, oh my gosh, I didn't know she even had those skills. And whether they worked or not, I didn't know she had them. She goes into the next round, she throws the head kick. We know that she has that, but she had set the head kick up differently. Went to the body twice with the same leg kick. Looked like she was going to go to the body, brought up a little higher, hit Jessica in the head, fight's over. What you come away with, though, is go, oh my gosh, all that I can tell that's consistent with the Bullet is the Bullet keeps getting better in between fight. That's a problem, that's a struggle, and that's very intimidating. I thought that Caitlin came out, I thought she fought one of her better fights, in all fairness. One of the knocks on Caitlin, who's fantastic and who has had a very fantastic run, but one of the knocks on her is her output. She has been booed at the end of many of her fights because people thought they were dull. Well, that's an output issue. That isn't a finish the fight issue, as a lot of people think it is. Finish the fight is a very lazy way of talking about output. Did you do enough to try to finish the fight? I thought her output was great. I thought her footwork was great. I thought in many ways she was moving around better than the Bullet was. The problem is she was on her feet with the Bullet, who's just more advanced there, and the Bullet was able to get her footing, be a little bit more flat-footed, but see things coming in, turn into a counter striker a little more than she generally does. But once again, that was a nuance that we haven't seen from her. Every fight, she shows something that we didn't know she was able to do. This fight, she had to play the role of counterfighter. Caitlin was moving around so much, doing such a good job keeping distance. She has a longer reach, Caitlin, was using that reach, that the Bullet said, okay, I'm just going to settle down. Because eventually she's going to have to come to me, and when she comes to me, I don't want to be on the move. I want to be ready to move. Eventually, the Bullet got her to the ground, locked her down, was able to pound her out. It was definitely the right call by the referee. Caitlin was not going anywhere, but I thought overall this contest was very impressive. But I thought the bigger takeaway in the story that you have, what do you do with the Bullet now? The Bullet obviously is going to go fight for a world championship. The Bullet is obviously going to be in no less than a co-main event spot. I understand that. I'm talking about, who do you bring in to dance with her? Chris Cyborg got to a spot where if you wanted to be the number one contender, you could be the number one contender by default because nobody else wants that job. Nobody's asking for it and nobody's pining for it. Give me somebody else. I know how this story's going to end, and therefore, I don't want to read the story. I don't want to be part of that story. Well, Cyborg got to a spot where if only one person raised their hand, and that's the spot she was in, where only one person would say, hey, I'm willing to do it. Boom. You're now the number one contender. This isn't a mandate of the masses. This isn't about competition. This isn't about ratings. This is about courage and willingness. One hand went up. You got the job. That appears to be a little bit of the spot that the Bullet is in my opinion. I haven't seen anybody else coming out and saying, that's my shot, give it to me. Now that will happen in a short period. Possibly by the time this message even gets to you guys, somebody will step forward. But I'm still right in my premise that whoever that person is going to get the fight.